So I am happy to be able to share with you my top 5 strategies. If this is your very first time joining us, I want to welcome you to our Helping Healthcare Heroes community. This is where we come to you each week, where we share different tips and tools to help you build your personal resilience, just knock that stress down just a titch, and be able to really survive in the amazing professions that you do each and every day. I know, being a health professional, it's rough. And I cannot even imagine what you're going through today. And so I want to be able to help you and give you the tools to do that. Before we get going, though, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Karrie Brazaski. I'm the founder of Helping Healthcare Heroes. This is a nonprofit that we put together to make sure that you have the tools and resources, because unfortunately, I'm a nurse of 30 years. That's not the unfortunate part, but I burnt out, and I burnt out really bad. I was a hospital administrator for 15 years, and there were no resources. There were no resources for my staff when they were burning out. There was a little bit, maybe, call EAP, but no true support and anything to proactively decrease the amount of stress and burnout that we see in our professions. And unfortunately, I let the stress really get a better part of me to where I was sick. I could no longer do what I was doing. I felt like I was a failure as a mom, as a wife, and as a nurse. And so I don't want any of you to ever get to that point. And so I love what I get to do, helping you to build your personal and professional resilience with the tools that we provide right here in this community. And this community is all about you. So if you have other healthcare friends, first responders, invite them in, have them join us, because we really want to make sure that we are getting the word out that there is support, and we want to help and give you the tools that you need. So, as I said, this week is all about setting yourself up to really not just survive, but to truly thrive and enjoy 2021, and not let stress, anxiety, and burnout manage and really consume your life. And so I have 5 things, and you may think of these like, really, this is what she's going to share, this is it. But it's really about you kind of slowing down so that you can speed up. That's what I want everyone to kind of take away from 2020. We were forced into decreased amount of social interaction. And for those of you that have been in the hospital, you have had this huge burden placed on you because no one is around to help you. Families aren't there. You are being put into different situations than you've ever had to deal with. You're dealing with more death than you've ever had to deal with. And so what I really would love to encourage you all to do is to kind of take a step back. And I know that it's hard. I know that there are days where you go from start to finish and you're lucky to get a break to go to the bathroom. But in those little moments where you can take a breath, whether it's walking into the med room or it's between patients, whatever little nuggets that you can kind of carve out in little time where you can take a deep breath and think about you and kind of center yourself is really going to help you as we move forward into 2021. So my top 5 strategies, and this is for 2021, this is for any time anyone is really looking at, how do I start to really get a handle on the stress and make me a priority? Because that's the very first thing that we need to do. Make you a priority. And by that, I mean, realize that you have got to take care of you so that you can be there for other people. We've all heard an empty vessel, you can't pour from an empty vessel. You can't bleed a turnip. If you've ever flown, you've heard them say, if the cabin depressurizes and we lose, that pressure, then you need to put your face mask on first before you help your child or those around you. It is exactly the same thing in our profession. I do believe we have lost cabin pressure for many of us. We feel like we're in pressure cookers. We feel like we're just kind of, everything is coming in on us. And guess what? You've got to put your oxygen mask on first. You've got to start making yourself a priority and realizing not just that you're a priority, but you're worth it. You're worth making a few minutes extra to take care of you, for you to be able to step out of the chaos of your day and be able to take a few deep breaths. And one of the biggest things that I want to challenge you is take your lunch. And I know you say, oh, yeah, like that would be fabulous. Even if it is 5 or 10 minutes, although I challenge you to really push and see if you can actually take your lunch time while you're working. And if you're one of those health professionals that are working from home, it's just as imperative for you. We have to start creating little breaks in our day so that we can continue to move forward. That 20-30 minute break that you can do for lunch can make a huge difference in your day, in your productivity, in the alertness that you have. And I share, if you're in direct patient care, do it for your patients. Do it for those people that you're going to be in contact with the rest of the day. Because when you step back and you're able to take care of you, you are more alert. You're going to catch those simple nuances that you might have missed because you were too tired. You are more on your game because you've been able to kind of fill yourself back up. It's kind of like, look at a football game. They don't go for the entire time. There's a halftime. There's a halftime break where they pull everybody in, they kind of regroup, they regain, themselves. Think about your day kind of like a football game. Take that break in the middle, regroup so that you can go out there and be whole. The other thing that you can do, and this is one of those kind of simple little hacks where people think that they don't have enough time, but if you can start your day with just 5 minutes of you time, whether it be you just sit and actually smell your coffee in the morning before you start rushing around, excuse me, you actually feel the mug. I mean, it's a great activity to do because a lot of us like a hot beverage in the morning. It doesn't matter whether it's coffee, tea, whatever it is. But if you can give yourself that 3 to 5 minutes where, like I have a cup right here, I tell people to, feel the cup in their hand, really feel the warmth. If you're a cold drinker, you can have your glass of water, you can do it with it as well. But it's really be present, smell whatever it is that you're drinking. And then as you taste it, very consciously make the effort to actually taste what it tastes like. Don't just gulp it down. And just that 3 to 5 minutes where you can be present with what you're drinking, or you can just be still, can totally set you up to have a totally different way in about your day because you're starting your day calm. Have you ever heard that saying that, whatever you do, however you do one thing, you do everything? Well, I kind of think of it like that as your day. However you start your day is how your day is going to be. So if you can start your day to be very, very calm, to be very present, then you can continue to have it. It's just like those days where the alarm didn't go off. Now you're late and you're kind of running around. You're getting everybody going. You're trying to get out the door. You're trying to get your kids over here. And you just are like, you feel like you're behind all day long. It's because you started your day behind. Okay. Think about that. The last time you kind of had that. And then it was like, then you hit every single light on the way to wherever you're going. Nothing seems to fall into place. And it's because you kind of started it out and just that chaos of the morning. Whereas if you can just create that still, that calm, you can carry that throughout the day. So number one, make yourself a priority and give yourself that 3 to 5 minutes where you can just be calm to start your day. The next is, I like to call it, we call you all our healthcare heroes. Well, number 2 is to shed the hero cape and the hero guilt. Okay. So we try to be all things to everybody. And we know that that creates a huge amount of stress in our day. And there are going to be times where you're just not going to be able to do it all. I was working with a group of working moms not long ago, and we were talking about it. And there were a couple of them that were health professionals and there were non-health professionals. But one of the biggest things is they felt like, I just feel so guilty. I can't get it all done. It's not to say that you guys don't have it. I just don't know what that feels like because I'm not a guy. But regardless of your gender, it's this stress and guilt that we put on ourselves. Guilt that we needed to do one more thing. Guilt that our house isn't just the way that we wanted it to be. Guilt that I'm not able to do the things that I want with my kids, or guilt because I have to go to work today and I can't be there while my kid is trying to figure out online school, or be there to send them off to school, or be there when they get home. There's huge amounts of guilt. And if for nothing else, 2021, try to get rid of some of that guilt. Because you know what? You cannot do it all. Let me repeat that. You cannot do it all. Now, there are days where you can do a lot, but we're always going to strive to do more, because as individuals, we have this innate need to always be better, to always be striving to do better. So there's always going to be something that we wish we could have done a little bit better. But what we need to do is really be present in the things that we can do. Know what you have control over and what you don't. You know, one of the biggest, and it just tears my heart up when I talk to nurses and respiratory therapists, and they're hurting because they're like, could I have done something more? I felt like I should have done more for that patient. I wish that I would have had a few more minutes, that I really could have been there to hold their hand. And guess what, guys? We're living in a very different time. And we used to have families that were at the bedsides, and you had people who could help you and they could help communicate. You don't have that right now. So you have to realize that some of it you cannot change. You can't change it. You can wish that it was better, but be present in those moments that you can, and know that at the end of the day, you did your best. Because I truly believe there is not a single person in healthcare that I have met. And maybe they're there. There's probably bad actors in every single profession out there. But in my heart of hearts, the true people who deliver care day in and day out do not get up and think, how can I make it bad today? How can I not be there for somebody? People go into healthcare because we want to make a difference for people. We want to make people feel better. So by and large, people are there to do their best. Right now, the external constraints that you have no control over, are very different than what we've had in the past. So I encourage you to just leave some of the guilt. And you might say, how do I do that? Acknowledge what you have control over and what you do not. You can't control other people's reactions. You can't control other people's behavior. You can't control this virus. You know, you can work within what you have and realize what you have control over and what you don't. And you know what? You maybe feel guilty because you had to go for a 12-hour shift and your kids needed you. And you have to realize there has to be a point in which you have to ask for help, because you can't do it all. You can't be at the hospital for 12 hours a day and be present with your kids for 12 hours a day. You can't be in two places at once. So what do you do to be able to make that happen? You know, I talk about some strategies of how we can help, you know, people when their kids are still at home and they have to go to work. And maybe we'll, you know, if that's a concern that you have, drop me a note, and if there's enough of you, or you know, even just a couple of you, I will make sure that we get that, because I have some great resources that people have been utilizing to help them. So try to acknowledge what you have control over and stop feeling guilty about what you can't. The third strategy that I believe really can help you thrive in 2021 is knowing that you make a difference. And not only do you make a difference, but you are absolutely enough and you matter just the way you are. You may be quirky. You may have a different sense of humor than everybody else, but you make a difference. You touch people's lives every single day. You touch them when you go to work. You touch them around your families. We don't physically touch anymore, but you get what I mean. You make a difference. And so when you start to kind of feel bad and feel like, why do I do this? Am I even making a difference? Think about the lives that you touch every single day. I shared this in a speech that I gave actually, it was many years ago. And it was also in one of our nursing articles. But nurses and healthcare professionals every single day are handed the lives of perfect strangers. Think about it. There's no other profession where we have that level of innate trust that perfect strangers hand their loved ones to us and say, please take care of them. Please help them. Please help them get better. They do that to us. It's a huge privilege, but it's a huge responsibility at the same time. And so know that every single one of those people you touch their families. You touch the people around them. And most of all, you touch their hearts because I know that each one of them touch yours. So know that you make a difference and what you do is important. And we continue to need you every single day. So make yourself a priority. Try to get rid of some of the guilt. Know that you make a difference. And the fourth is ask for help. I kind of mentioned that earlier when I said you can't do it all. Healthcare is notorious for feeling like we have to do it all. And I come up through the nursing ranks. So maybe some of the other modalities, maybe you all have learned this better than we have in nursing. I can tell you after 30 years and, being in hospitals for 15, I've not seen it get a whole lot better. We are terrible about asking for help. We think that we have to do it all. Or we think, well, why can't she get her work done? Why is she asking me for help? Instead of kind of coming together as this collaborative team that we all say we love. I love my team. You talk to people, why do you continue to go to work? I love my team. I love who I get to work with. Well, you know what? They probably want to help you and you would help one of your friends. But we so many times don't give our friends and our colleagues the opportunity to help us because we don't let them know that we need it. Or we wait until we're so far behind. We feel like we're kind of, trying to get up from drowning because we're so far down. We wait until, the life preserver is not even within reach. Ask before you get to that point. Ask your family to start helping you. Let them know what you need. Because I will tell you, so here's a totally unwork related example. I am fanatical. It's an obsession that I have that my floor needs to be clean. My kitchen floor. Like it doesn't matter. I'm always like, oh, this floor is just disgusting. It's dirty, blah, 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 blah. Most people, it would be fine. But my husband doesn't see it. And it doesn't even like register when he goes into the kitchen. He is not going to like look around and look at the floor and go, oh, there's a couple drops from, where they emptied the dishwasher yesterday. Wipe it up. It doesn't bother him. He doesn't see it, but he'd happily help. And he's even said to me, just write me a note. Just ask me. I'm happy to do it. And I think, well, I shouldn't have to ask you. You should be able to do it. Well, I can tell you, 23 years of marriage now, the man is not clairvoyant. He doesn't know what I need. He does at times, but he can't read my mind. That's somebody that I've spent 23 years of my life with. How many years have you spent with your colleagues and you're expecting them to read your mind? It's not going to happen. They don't know when you need help. So you have to ask. Now, we all have those amazing angels that we've worked with. Mine, it was Aggie. When I went from OB to ICU, she seemed to be that nurse that would swoop in when I got called over here and I'm coding and putting in central lines and doing all of these things with one patient while this other one, I couldn't even get out of the room. And then I'd go in there and she would have already done my assessment. We don't have a lot of Aggies. I wish that we had more, but people are so busy with what's going on, they have a hard time knowing what you need. So that's why we have to ask them. Give people the opportunity to step up and shine and to feel good. Because think about how good you feel when you help somebody else out. You feel great about it. I mean, my husband, he mops the floor and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. He feels great. I feel great. But I had to ask for it because it's just not on their radar. It's not the first thing that they think about. When you're struggling with, your colleagues are over in their own little world. So help one another out and ask for help. It goes at home as much as it does at work. And then the last thing that I want you to think about so that you really can thrive in 2021, it is to do something, anything, each day for you, just for you. It could be that 5 minutes in the morning. It could be, you looking at an app or playing a game that just you love. It could be reading a book. It could be a hot bath. It could be a shower. Self-care, something for you each day. And you do it for you, not because your kids need you to do it or your spouse needs you to do it or you feel like you have to do it. I want you to do it for you. Because when you start taking care of you, all of these other things are going to be a whole lot easier around you. You matter. And so you need to know the things that you enjoy doing. I share, or I actually ask this question a lot when I work with clients one-on-one. What do you love to do? And they think about it. Think about it. What do you love to do? When was the last time you did it? Bring a little joy back into your life by doing those things that bring you joy, that make you happy. Now, granted, we all can't get out and about and do some of the things that we used to do, but I bet there's things right in your own home that you enjoy doing, that you get a great stress relief from. And I want you to do them each day. You don't have to do everything every day, but just do something nice for you where you acknowledge, I'm doing this for me. It could be, I'm going to drink all my water today. I'm on this thing, I'm trying to drink a gallon of water a day. I love water, so it's not that big of a deal. You might want to, I'm going to cut out the processed food today. And you consciously make the effort and you say to yourself, I'm doing this for me. I'm choosing to put healthy food in my body today because it's for me so that I can be healthier. I'm choosing to make this time for me because I know I'm worth it. So start looking at those things that you do and acknowledge it to yourself and tell yourself why you're doing it. Because if you saw somebody else doing it, you would applaud them. And that's the other bonus. So I'll give you number 6 is when you see other people taking good care of themselves and doing those things, applaud them. When you see a colleague who figures out how to take their lunch break, is able to take a little break in the middle of it, applaud them. Applaud them. Tell them, I'm so proud that you get all of your work done and are able to get this. Because when you start seeing and acknowledging it, more people are going to do it. And it will help you to kind of hardwire in those things that are good and positive all around you. And it helps lift everybody up. As I say, a rising tide lifts all boats. So if we can start lifting one another up, it actually makes us feel good, but it makes all of those around us feel good too. So I challenge you, I should say, to really take these strategies to heart because none of them are hard to do. Maybe difficult to implement consistently unless we put the effort in. But here they are again. 1, make yourself a priority. Get rid of the guilt. Know what you can and can't control. 3, know that you make a difference. You touch people's lives every single day. Ask for help. You can't do it all alone. So ask for help. And 5, do something nice and good for you every single day. I know you can do it, and you're worth it. This is Karrie Brazaski with Helping Healthcare Heroes with another week of your tips to help you build your personal and professional resilience. Again, if you have colleagues and friends that are out there that need the support, please invite them into our community. We are here and want to be able to help you. Let us know. I'm here. You're welcome to private message me, drop your questions in the link. And so until next week, I hope that you have a great one and go make time for you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.